Hi everyone, welcome to this video series called The Art of Conscious Creation, where I talk about how to use your own energy to create what you want to see in the universe and in your world. So I wanted to talk about creation in your world today because it is something that I don't think is fully understood by a lot of people. The biggest inaccuracy in how people understand how your personal world is created and how the world is created is this idea that we all live in one same world. We do not all live in one same world. Energy is fluid, extremely fluid. The energy in the world is interacting with the energy in the universe constantly. There's no wall between what is seen and what is unseen. And so there's new energy coming in all the time and energy being exchanged all the time. And there are no limits on the world. Also, the world that you live in is determined by your perception, which changes constantly. Everybody has their own unique perception, determined only by their free will. What you perceive is determined by what you focus on, and what you focus on is determined by your free will. You choose what to focus on no matter what environment you're in at any time, and because you choose what to focus on and you get more of what you focus on, then what you perceive from the world is determined by your free will. Everybody has their own free will that they can use in any way that they want, which means that everybody's perception of the world is very different. And because energy is energy and fluid and moving all the time and limitless, everybody's perception can go anywhere that they want it to go. Meaning that we believe that we are all living on one world that is the same for all of us, but that is completely untrue. There are as many worlds as there are people, but there are actually more worlds than there are people, because in any moment, a person's perception is changing all the time. So energy is not boxed in and lined up and cut out in straight lines the way we are taught to think and the way that we are taught to think that it is. It just isn't that way. So what that means is that you are 100% in charge of what ends up in your environment. Not instantly, because what ends up in your environment is determined by what you focus on, and what you focus on creates a pattern in your mind and in your energy, so that if you see something, you're more likely to look for that thing and see more of it. That it doesn't matter if you're looking for acorns in a field. If you're out there searching the field for acorns and you start thinking about acorns, you're going to become better and better at seeing acorns. The same thing is true if you're searching for problems in your life. The same thing is true if you're searching for good things that are going well in your life. However, the more problems you look for, because the energy in the world is not separated from the energy outside the world, the more problems that you look for in the world, the more problems will be pulled into your perception, even from outside the world, meaning energy. Energy is pulled towards you when you focus on something, and you will create more problems if you're looking for more problems. So there's no limit to what you can create in that way, other than you have to work with your focus and with the process of momentum and creating patterns. That's how you create strength to your beliefs and to your focus. Now, one of the really lovely metaphors that I like to use is the metaphor of a telescope. So if you have a telescope and you look out there, you scan the skyline, you can see a whole number of different things. There's a huge variety out there for you to look at. When you find something that you're particularly interested in, whether it might be in a good way you're interested in it, or might be a bad way, you might be horrified by it, but you're drawn to it for some reason, then you can use your free will to focus in on it more, which is like turning that dial on the telescope, and what you see will get bigger and bigger and bigger, but it will get bigger in your perception. It will start to fill up what you see as your view of the world. Now, so that's free will. Really, the two of the biggest processes at work in the world are that of creating patterns that create their own life, and that's how you interact with the non-physical world. And then as you do that, you can choose what to focus on. If you're zoomed in on something and it takes up your entire screen, if you then try to refocus on something else, it won't really make any sense because you have already focused in on what you're looking at. So let's say you believe that things are things are going really well for you in your life. You're a very good creator. You're liking what you see. If something comes into your life, or if you try and look at something with a very negative attitude, it's hard to do that because you already have all those beliefs set up. What you can do is focus back out so you get your bearing again and look at the world, and then refocus back in on something, and that will make more sense to you. And that is because when you choose to focus in on something, its own energy is created, and that energy is part of your thought processes. So you cannot instantly snap out of your thought processes. You kind of have to back out of them and create something new, because your thought processes are who you are. That is your personality. The patterns that you have created in your life is your personality, and your personality determines what you see in the world. So the good news is your personality is much more fluid and flexible and changeable than most people think. Most of what people think of as themselves are really patterns of thought that they have set up after they were born. And all of those can be changed if you're willing to use your free will and decide that you want to focus on something else in your life. I will give you a very small example. I live in Louisville, Kentucky, and for a few years I was very, very grumpy, and I didn't really like my life situation, and I would walk around Louisville looking for parks, and everyone I went to I didn't like. It didn't look nice. I would say to myself, there really are no nice parks in Louisville. However, when I started changing how I started thinking, changing how I was thinking, and starting to look at the world differently, I started going to, in some instances, the same parks. But this time I was finding different paths and different walks in these same parks that had features that I loved, like little rivers and little streams. And when I went there, I was actually amazed that those paths existed in that exact same park that I had been to before. But suddenly they were there. Now, not only that, but new parks either that I did not know about, I found out about, or even I have been looking for a bike path that was very flat. And there was none that were off the road in Louisville. And when I changed what I thought, there was a park next to my house built with at least 18 miles of flat bike path in beautiful, beautiful surroundings. So either when you change what you focus on and what you think and believe and what you expect, either you will see new things, new aspects about what you have already been looking at, or new things will be pulled into your world that will match what you now think and believe and will match your new personality and the patterns of thinking you have going on. Okay, that is all for now. I hope to see you next week. I will post a new video then. Thank you for being here.